How you doing, guys? So black currants are currently in season here in Ireland at the moment. So today we're going to start jamming. We're going to make some blackcurrant jam. Here we go. So for our blackcurrant jam, here I have about 400 grams of fresh blackcurrants that I picked in the back garden. Now, as you can see, some of the stalks on top are still kind of there or thereabouts, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to strain this after I boil it initially, and I'm going to take away all those. So I'm going to be left with like a smooth jelly or a smooth jam if you like. Also, along with that, you're going to need some jam sugar. So you're talking normally for jam 50-50 with sugar to fruit. Jam sugar has pectin in it that helps it set. Normally in blackcurrants, however, there is enough pectin in there to let it set with normal caster sugar. So if you want to use normal caster sugar with a squeeze of lemon, you can do that and it will set perfectly. Just weigh it out after you've boiled it and get the exact amount of sugar to your fruit. So I'll be using a little less than 50% because this has pectin in it also. So with those black currants then, I'm just going to add about 80 mils of water to a heavy base pot. And then I'm going to bring that to the boil. So we'll get started first of all by getting our fruit in here. And then, as you can see, that's how fresh it is. I need to pick out a few stalks. So I've picked out the few remaining stalks that are in there. There might be a couple more in there, but that's okay. As I said, I'm going to strain it anyhow. So into that as well, in goes the water. And now we're just going to get it onto the heat and bring it to the boil. So onto a nice high heat. Get this turned on. Onto a nice high heat. We'll boil it up for about 4 or 5 minutes. So that's been boiling now for about 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's nicely pulped down. So now I'm just going to pass it through a sieve. So just get it all in there if you have a sieve. As I said, you don't have to do this way. You can keep it lumpy as long as you have the rough parts of the stalks off. So I'll just let that drain for a second, and then I'm going to push the rest through. So I'm just going to use the back of a spatula to really push all this through. Let me just show you how it's working. So you're literally just pushing through the sieve, as you can see, like that. You will be left with quite a bit of pulp, but that's okay. You can use the pulp if you want to add to like a tart or a pie filling. Go really well with some nice apple tart. So I've got most of the rough stuff out there. As you can see, it's nearly quite jammy already. So I'm not going to add a lot of jam sugar to that. I'm going to give it about 100 grams. I would say that's about 250 grams of the pulp there. So I'm going to add just 100 grams. So now, just before I add the sugar, I just want to show you a couple of things that you will need. You will need some sterilized jars. This one will probably do me. If you have a mason jar, it's always a handy one to have around. Also, this is my thermometer. It's a thermo pen. So I need it to come up to 105 degrees Celsius. That is what is called setting point. So once you get it up to that, you're fine. You know your jam is going to set. So in with our 100 grams of jam sugar. Just going to give that a quick mix around. And then we're going to get the heat back on. And we're going to get that right up and boiling. And then we're going to take the temperature on it. So I'm just going to take the temperature of that right now. Just be careful when you're cooking this that it doesn't catch a burn, because it can happen quite easily. It is obviously quite syrupy. And if that does happen, then I'm afraid you're just going to have to get rid of it. This recipe will work also for other fruits, but the pectin level in other fruits such as strawberries and so on wouldn't be as high as blackcurrant, so you would need to up the sugar content. Okay, that's great. So that's now at 105. So I've cooled the jam to about 60 degrees, so you could easily touch that, but I wouldn't advise to be sticking your fingers into the jam without using the thermometer first to see where it's at, or else you could get a very nasty burn. So we're just going to pour this into the jar like so. So at 60 degrees, it'll still pour pretty well. Just be careful when you pour it, because trying to get blackcurrant off anything is quite a task. So I should get a full jar out of this now. Nearly there. So as I said, that was about 300 grams of fruit there, basically. And so it's nice and smooth as well, so you're not going to get those harsh lumps in there also. So there we go. Now we'll just give that jam jar a little clean. So there you have it, folks. Beautiful, rich, homemade, country Irish blackcurrant jam.